Hey, it's Karri Flatla here at REMAX Real Estate Lethbridge. It's middle of October 2017 and I just wanted to provide you a market update for fall. I'm going to hit on 4 key points. We're going to talk about price, sales volume, supply and demand, and then a couple of things that are going on in the broader economy that could be affecting us here in Lethbridge as well. So, price, pretty flat in Lethbridge. No news there at all. Sorry to disappoint you if you're a homeowner, but I think we're tracking around 1.5% price increase overall, with the caveat that we're talking in terms of averages today. So you always want to look at your individual neighborhood, house, price point, style, all that kind of thing when you're pricing your home. But overall, the Lethbridge market is very flat in terms of price. We're probably tracking inflation roughly in terms of price increase. Some years we get a little bit better bump than others, but this year really no news whatsoever. In terms of sales volume, that's where we have a little bit of a story. So we've seen sales transactions in the city of Lethbridge drop by about 6%. Again, depending which part of the market you're looking at. If you're looking at single family detached, it's actually a little more than 6%. We've seen a drop in sales transactions versus 2016 year to date, so January to October. I'm not entirely sure what's driving that. My guess is there's an issue with consumer confidence right now. We've just got a lot of things happening in the broader economy, especially in Alberta, of course, which is struggling right now economically, and the lending environment is getting tricky. I just think that people are pulling back for different reasons. So people are much more cautious right now when they're purchasing a home, in my opinion. In terms of the supply-demand dynamic, sometimes you'll hear that called months inventory or absorption rates. We are definitely seeing a softening as we head into fall versus what the picture looked like when I pulled the numbers back in July. So if you have a house that's $400,000 or more and you are getting in line with all the other sellers waiting to sell their home and nothing else changed after today, it would take about 11 months for all those houses to sell. Now, when we get up into the higher price points still, say 600 to 700,000, 21 months inventory. So really anything in Lethbridge over $400,000, we're talking luxury. That is luxury market for Lethbridge because we have a lot more sellers than we have buyers to buy those homes. West Lethbridge, we're seeing a lot of new construction still, especially in the higher price points. So you have to keep that in mind. If you're putting a home on the market in those higher price points, you're always competing with new construction. People will be comparing your home to a new construction home. The other thing I wanted to talk about is just things that are going on in the broader economy that can affect us here locally in Lethbridge. Population steady and growing in Lethbridge, so that's good news. I think from 2016 to 2017, if you look at census numbers, this population of Lethbridge grew by about 1.4%. In West Lethbridge, that part of the city grew by just over 3%. So very similar numbers to what we saw last year. Steady population growth, but manageable, so we like to see that in the city. Unemployment also affects real estate a lot. Lethbridge Medicine Hat, the last numbers I saw from StatsCan for May 2017 were just under 6% unemployment. Those are probably some of the best numbers in the province, which is struggling with higher unemployment right now in other cities. So that's good. Lethbridge might even be a little better than 5.9% because Medicine Hat is rolled into that, and Medicine Hat has definitely had a tough time with their natural gas affecting employment there. So the other important thing that's coming, and it was just announced, I believe, yesterday, is the Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions in Canada has announced that as of January 1st, 2018, homebuyers who are doing more than 20% with an uninsured mortgage will now have to undergo a stress test when they qualify for a mortgage. That means that, according to CBC, Borrowers would be stress tested at either the 5-year average posted rate or 2% higher than their actual mortgage rate, whichever is higher. So if you qualified for $500,000 to go buy a house, now you're going to qualify for less when you undergo the stress test. It's a big deal. We saw a similar change last October for first-time home buyers with insured mortgages doing less than 20% down. They had to undergo a stress test at the posted benchmark rate, which at that time I think was 4.89. Even though your contract rate might be less, you have to qualify at the stress test rate. So that changes people's plans quite a bit. And I think that has affected the market even this year, because the bottom of the market are first-time home buyers. Lots of people had to leave the market who thought they were going to buy. So that I think is going to have an impact going forward. If you have any questions at all about anything I've talked about, again, your house, your neighborhood, style of your house, all those kinds of things will affect you differently than the average. So definitely call me if you have any questions, and we'd love to hear from you, and have a terrific rest of your day. Bye-bye.